Hey everyone, Austin here again with another quick play. Today, it's going to be Castlevania III for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Man, this game, it's so good. That's how I'm going to start this video, it's just so good. I'm actually really looking forward to playing this one. Yeah, we've played through a lot of Castlevanias already this month, in October of 2022 as of doing this video. You know, we're finally revisiting Castlevania 3. I did Part 1, I did Bloodlines, I did Part 4, I did Dracula X on Super Nintendo, and now we are doing Castlevania 3. So, I am going to be doing things a little bit differently in this playthrough. A lot of times when I do Castlevania 3 playthroughs, I like to show off the Sipho route, which is honestly probably the easiest route in the game. What I'm going to do today is try to show off one of the harder routes, which is, it involves Alucard. Now, there are some things you can do to make it a little bit easier. Alucard, the character, can turn into a bat, and so you can actually do some sequence breaking, which is probably by design, because Alucard can turn into a bat and just fly around and just, you know, bypass certain sections. So we will probably utilize that, but there is a notoriously difficult, at least for a lot of people, vertical falling block section I'm going to be trying to handle. I'll try to show you how I do that normally. Now, I can't guarantee the smoothest run, much like Dracula X on Super Nintendo and Bloodlines. I haven't played this in a little while. Actually, honestly, with this one, a little while, probably just being a couple of months. This is one I do revisit a lot, especially if I'm just, you know, like on Twitch doing a random NES variety stream. I always have to fire this up. So, we will still see. We're going to wing it. We're going to see what we can do with this more difficult route. And, yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens. For anybody that just happened to stumble upon this video, and you're new to my channel, this is my quick play series where I basically just fire up a game and just kind of see what we can do with it. I always attempt to go through the whole game, but, you know, sometimes I don't make it. Sometimes I also practice for these videos. Other times, like right now, I don't. And so this is one of those situations where I haven't, you know, I'm going to be going into this somewhat cold. So we'll just kind of see what happens. I'll probably die a bunch of times. Hopefully we can do the game without continuing, but regardless, we will just kind of see what happens. So let's go ahead and hit the start button. One interesting thing here, if I do it right, I want to say it's B and start. It takes you to a sound test menu. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually have my NES on in the background on one of my CRTs, and I'll just go to the sound test menu here and just rock it as I'm doing stuff around the apartment, or if I'm like working on a video or you know, managing my social media on, you know, for my YouTube channel. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I love that there is a sound test in this. I'm a sucker for sound test menus. So let's go ahead and hit start. Go to opening. Now there's the classic help me code, where you basically spell out your name as help me. I am not going to do that. We'll just do A for Austin. And we'll go ahead and hit end, and we will jump right into the game. Alright, so if you've never played a Castlevania game before, you've got all sorts of candles littered around the playfield, and they will drop whip upgrades. You can upgrade your whip twice, and they will also drop sub-weapons. Man, it's actually kind of weird playing this game again, because I went from Bloodlines to Dracula X, and now I'm going like in reverse and playing an even more ancient Castlevania game. So it might take a little while to get the hang of this again. It probably won't take that long, honestly. I've played this game so many times over the years. Man, it does feel good to revisit this game. I love Castlevania 3. I mean, I like the majority of the series, but this one in particular has always, you know, held a special place, you know, to me. It's got a good balance of like challenge, and, but it's also got interesting level design. It also is a kind of an impressive looking NES game too. There's a lot of like, you know, background variety and things like that, which is great, you know. So I've got the Holy Water. Holy Water actually acts differently in this than it does in Castlevania 1, but I'd say it's equally as good. Holy Water is very, very good in this game, so if you're trying to just mow down bosses, and some bigger enemies for that matter, you know, Holy Water is the way to go in this. Now, there are some points in the game where I do prefer other sub-weapons, especially for the final boss. I actually prefer the axe for the final boss. And once we get there, you guys will understand why. But again, we're gonna intend on taking the, you know, one of the tougher routes in this game. Now, every time you play this game, you always have to play this first level. It's a great first level too. It's just really good level design, good variety. I love it. Really good stuff. This first level actually flows really smoothly too. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I'm gonna try to tackle the second loop on this playthrough. For one, playthroughs of Castlevania 3 are kind of on the long side. You know, closer to an hour, I believe, versus like Castlevania 1, where it's like 30 minutes. You know, this is like double the game in terms of length. I mean, maybe it could be a little bit less than that. Maybe it'll be more like 45 minutes. But the second loop also gets really difficult, and I've never actually successfully completed the second loop on the hardest route. There is this one vertical section where you have to do the triple boss fight, and it's just insanely difficult on the second loop with Alucard. Maybe it would be different if I like brought Sypha into it or something like that, but yeah, with Alucard, it's not that fun. Alright, so our first boss here, you can actually just smack it in the head from this top platform. I always like to tell people, in the Japanese version, you cannot do that. There's no hitbox on his head in the Japanese version. That was actually something they tweaked for the North American release. There are a lot of subtle gameplay differences between the Japanese and American versions of Castlevania 3. On some of the boss fights, there are no longer platforms you can just stand on safely in the American one, whereas in the Japanese version you can, but there are also some like hitbox differences too, most notably on those skeleton armored knights. I'm going to take the bottom route. The top route will actually take you through the clock tower, and that'll take you to Grant, who is an awesome character. I love playing as Grant, and I'm going to go ahead and just walk on top of these things. Grant is really cool because he can climb on walls and ceilings, and he jumps super high too, like very, very high. And so he's a very unique playstyle, and he's the only character in the game that has mid-air control. So Grant is just like super flexible. So it's just a really fun playstyle that's very different from your usual, you know, Trevor, Alucard, and Sypha, you have to commit to everything playstyle. And Grant's like, you can mess up with Grant and still maneuver out of the way safely, which is just interesting. Alright, so we've got these owls. They like to dive bomb you. Honestly, the boomerang is kind of the way to go with dealing with these guys. Or you can just jump up and hit them with your whip. And we'll go ahead and do it again. Boom, just like that. 1, 2. And as you probably noticed already, we can actually get combo points from killing multiple enemies with one sub-weapon, just like the first Castlevania. I'm gonna go ahead and use my boomerang there. The boomerang is really good in this game. It goes all the way across the screen. So it covers a lot of screen space. It's actually a lot better than it is in, say, Dracula X that we played just a couple days ago. Oops. Yeah, it was actually... these bone pillars in this game, they shoot 3 projectiles. And I for some reason, I was expecting only 2. So that was my fault, running into one of those projectiles. I love, like, the lightning strikes in the background with the shifting backdrop. We got some wall chicken right there. And this is going to be another split. And this is actually where we start deviating from the normal route I take, which is the Sypha route. Sypha is that character there in the middle, on the top right. You basically free her by killing a Cyclops. The Cyclops turned her to stone. What's really cool about Castlevania 3 is you can play it like the original Castlevania, where it's just your main character. It's Trevor Belmont in this one, where it's Simon Belmont in the first game. So, yeah, you run across characters in this game, and they can join you. But you can also choose to just pass them by. It's a really cool mechanic that not a lot of games from this time period did. Castlevania 3 was very unique in that regard, and it really makes the game, you know, having the option to play as multiple characters. And honestly, it's kind of something I wish they had brought back in later linear Vanias. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, not Ritual of the Night, Curse of the Moon, which was the 8-bit spin-off, 8-bit style spin-off, allowed you to do that too, and that was really cool. And there was a lot of different, you know, a lot of different flexibility in that game because of being able to, you know, take characters on or just ignore them and just walk past them. And that game it expanded on the concept even further, where like you got you know, different endings and maybe even different move sets based on like who joined you or who didn't, or if you killed the character, you could actually kill them in Curse of the Moon. So an even bigger twist than in Castlevania 3, but it was heavily inspired by Castlevania 3. I think Koji Igarashi actually has said multiple times that this game was his favorite Castlevania game. So Curse of the Moon in particular was heavily inspired by this game. I will say there are some dull moments in this game. Like some of the later levels aren't really my favorite in the franchise. And so whenever I think about this game, I do think about the first thing that comes to mind is some of the more boring levels in the game that get repetitious and you have to play them in every playthrough just because they're some of the last stages in the game. And so I always forget about how detailed some of these early levels are. Like, this level is super detailed. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a shot doubler because I am using the boomerang. A lot of times I don't use the boomerang in this game, so this is actually kind of different. Still not too bad so far. We haven't died yet. So we're doing okay. And we're getting close to fighting Alucard. So we actually have to fight Alucard, and then he opts to join us. Because he doesn't like his dad anymore. He wants to go kill his dad. Sounds messed up. And we've got these mummies. These mummies can be a little frustrating to deal with. They are a little bit like the mummies in the first Castlevania, the boss mummies. There are also boss mummies in this game as well, and they operate a little bit like the mummies do in the first Castlevania. We have lots of falling blocks here. They crack away and then fall underneath you. That was actually a mechanic that was introduced in this game. We do also have some mechanics that were introduced in Castlevania 2, like these little bounty slimes. And let's go ahead and see if we can get that. Don't want the knife. I really don't like the knife in this game. It's not a great weapon. I mean, it has its purpose, but really, you don't ever want to use it with Trevor unless, like, you're just desperate. Like, you died and, you know, you just need something as a sub-weapon. But you never want to switch to the knife if you've got the boomerang or the axe. It is a little redundant. And Holy Water is, you know, really great for ground-based enemies. But as you can see, like, look at that. I mean, the boomerang is just so powerful. I actually want to take the top route here. Sometimes items are in, like, the corners of walls. So you do have breakable walls in this, just like Castlevania 1. Man, now I want to play Castlevania 2, since I mentioned it. I might have to do a live stream of Castlevania 2 this month. What do you guys think about that? I think my regulars will say, yes please. More Castlevania is a good thing. I might have to do that. I wasn't originally going to binge all the Castlevanias this month. I was only going to do like 4 quick plays this month. But now it's looking like it's going to be closer to 10. So hopefully you guys enjoy the deluge of Castlevania content. Alright, make sure that's not a sub-weapon, and that is Wall Chicken. I don't need it though. And that's an axe, which the axe is actually really good against Alucard. Alucard as a boss, he's actually really big, and his hitbox is also really big, and having the axe, which, you know, has a nice arc to it, can be really handy against him. Let's go ahead and just sit on these stairs for a second. And we've got these eyeballs. They're like the eyeballs in Zelda 2. Another game I love. I also love just how snappy the movement is in this game. After playing Dracula X on the Super Nintendo, this just feels like a dream compared to that game. Not to knock Dracula X. It is I like Dracula X a lot, but it is very stiff compared to this. This just flows really nicely. Like I was talking about, like when you duck in this, I'm talking about it in my Dracula X playthrough, sorry. Your ducking is instant. There's like very little, pretty much no delay when you need to stand back up and keep moving. Look at how much like flexibility I have. You know, so I can like duck and then just move, duck and attack and just move instantly. You're so fast in this game. I mean, you're obviously not Super Mario fast, but compared to some of the later Castlevanias, you are very, very quick and snappy. Alright, so now we talk to Alucard, and, you know, we're gonna have him join us. I'm surprised you beat me. I've been waiting for you. Oh, really? I need you to help me destroy Dracula. What will you do? Take him with you? We'll leave him behind. And I love how Trevor actually nods when he says yes, and he'll actually shake his head when you say no. So, and they shake hands. Such great attention to detail. People that are just bitter old men that like to rag on the NES obviously have not played Castlevania III. and been beholden to its brilliance. It's not even nostalgia talking. it's just great. It's so good. Drop some holy water. Let's see if I can just jump here. Okay, I kinda almost want the boomerang, but I kinda want to work with the holy water for a little bit. Now I have to actually wait. I do not want to grab that dagger. It's okay, I don't mind taking some hits here, not a big deal. I definitely want holy water for later boss fights on this route. For sure. I'm taking lots of damage. These mummies can be a little frustrating to deal with. So now there is an extra life right here, which is actually very difficult to get. It's a lot easier with Grant. So with Trevor, you could theoretically fall down with one of those blocks, hit the candle on the way down, but it's way too risky to be worth it. I like to get it with Grant. Alright, so we have a choice. We can go down, or we can go top route. We're gonna go top route. I think the top route is actually a little bit easier. There is a boss on the bottom route that is actually really tough to work with, so what we're gonna do is just kind of stick with this route. And hopefully I can take my holy water to the boss fight. And I had to be careful here, because I don't think there are any health refills here. And we've got some Zelda 2 style falling blocks. And we've got a red skeleton. Red skeletons just constantly respawn, so I'm going to wait for him to respawn, hit him, go to the other side, and we're just going to kind of do it again. We've got a dagger. I don't want that. Just going to take it really slow here. Now, unfortunately, I do not have a shot doubler. That's the only thing that's going to aggravate me here right now. This boss can be quite tricky. Oh, there's a doubler. Very nice. Okay, we're back in business. So, it's basically the same boss as level 1, except now he throws bones out, and he's a real pain to deal with. I actually was trying to do Castlevania III whip only, which I've never actually successfully done before, and it's bosses like that that are really tough to deal with. I think what I was trying to do was do whip only Alucard route, and I don't think I was able to make it happen because of bosses like that. So holy water just, it helps out so much. All right, so this is basically, we're in Dracula's castle now, or in the, you know, on the lead up to it. And so what I should also be doing is switching over to Alucard. For one, kind of like Trevor, he actually has to upgrade his attack. He has a long-range projectile. It is actually extremely weak, and it's also extremely slow. So Alucard, as far as combat is concerned, is not a favorite for a lot of people. But you can skip a lot of sections just like that by switching into bat form. You basically have to jump and press down and A, and you will be able to turn into a bat. And also, Alucard cannot attack on stairs, so he's not ideal for, he's not an ideal stair character. But his long-range projectile is useful, not gonna lie. Woo! Alright, switch over to bat form. Now, in bat form, you end up using hearts. Your hearts drain pretty quickly when you're in bat form, so, you know, you want to use... you want to use that form or ability sparingly. Good funky music, I like it. It's very chill. So I'm going to actually use Alucard here because if I mess up and I get knocked into a pit, I believe I can actually switch into bat form. It's actually kind of funny, Alucard's also really tall compared to the other characters. That was a nice touch. Is in a lot of 8-bit games, you know, characters are always, like, the same height. But in this, they actually made his sprite a little bit larger, so he actually stands taller. It's really cool. You can see, like, his head is going through the top ceiling, the block. I'm pretty sure the hitbox is probably still the same as it is with other characters. Well, maybe not Grant. Grant is actually, Grant is hunch over. You know, it's another nice attention to detail in this game, where Alucard sits tall, Grant, like, is hunched over. It's just so cool. Alright, I'm gonna actually switch back over to Trevor. You can switch on staircases, and the reason for that is I'd rather use holy water right here. Just mow through those bone pillars. Ooh, nice, and I got a tripler too. And I'm gonna use holy water on the boss fight. Trevor is definitely the better character to use for bosses. Alucard is someone you play as just to traverse areas easier. You don't use Alucard to fight bosses. Unless you're trying to just do an Alucard only run. It might be possible to actually type in a password that starts a brand new game with just Alucard. Or any other character you want. On loop 1, they might be like secret codes. I'll have to look into that. I know codes exist where you can just start a brand new loop 2 with Alucard, I think. Now I'm not so sure. I'm doubting myself. Alright, so this is kind of the infamous level. The second half of it involves us having to go up this huge vertical shaft with falling blocks. You have to utilize the falling blocks to go up that shaft, and it's really tough for people. A lot of people just find it to be impossible. It's definitely not impossible. You just have to follow a particular pattern, and I will try to explain it the best I can once we get to it. This is one of those levels I don't really care for that much, though. It is a slow level compared to, you know, some of the other areas in the game, which is why I prefer the Sipho route. There's not as much waiting on the Sipho route. On this route, like this next room, you gotta wait for the water drops to, you know, burn holes through these blocks. This is definitely a little more puzzle-centric, which is not really to my typical preferred playstyle. Now, if I wanted to, I could use Alucard and actually just use my bat form, but I actually want to save my hearts for the second section in case I need it. I want to try to do the vertical shaft without going into my bat transformation, but just in case. let's go ahead and skip that. I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the holy water, because we do have some boss fights coming up. If I can keep the holy water with the tripler, that would be ideal. So without Alucard, you have to actually just wait for these blocks to build up. But if you're Alucard, you can just switch over to bat form and just fly straight up. So it's obvious this area was designed with Alucard in mind. I'm pretty sure that's why this area is designed the way it is. And that makes sense. If you have multiple characters with multiple abilities, it's probably good to have, you know, a level or two that really focuses around that. But if you're playing as other characters, it can make the game a little more tedious than you would like it to be. I'm gonna see if I can wait for this guy to come down here. Yep, just like that. Nice. I love that the hitbox for the holy water can actually end up going through the top. Boom, just like that. Now I think there's also gonna be a big heart over here. Yep. And that's wall chicken. I wanted to save that in case I actually took some damage or something, which happens here sometimes. If I was Grant, I could actually go over this wall. He just climbs straight up it, and he just falls off the other side. It's great. Like I said, there's just so much variety in this game. There's so many different ways to tackle the various sections. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Don't mind if I take a hit, I just don't want to fall into the water. And once we go through this door... hi, bat. The bat's bored. I could probably go up and, like, pet him. Okay, that's funny. Alright, we go through this door, and this is the section I was talking about. Alright, so this is the part that gives people crazy trouble. Now these blocks, they are basically falling down in the same order. So you want to watch that order, and what I do is I try to land on the blocks that have just recently fallen. A block will never fall in the same spot twice. Now there is a caveat to that. You'll notice that we're constantly pushing blocks downwards off the screen, and when that happens, the pattern does change, but then it remains static again once it changes. You don't want to touch the blocks when they're active, otherwise when they're falling, they have active hitboxes, and you don't want to land on top of them. You'll notice I'm just kind of playing to this pattern. And actually right now I can fall here. See? Just like that. I push the screen up a little bit. I'm going to take advantage of this platform being filled below me. Actually intentionally building it up, which can make my life easier. Build it up. Just take your time. Don't stress out too much here. That's one of the keys, is not stressing out on this part. It's time consuming, but it's really not that bad, honestly. Like, look at this. I feel completely safe now, because I've let it build up. And I'm just kind of following the same pattern. Coming up nice and slowly. I'm gonna push those last blocks on the left off, just to see if that alters our pattern here. There we go. Yeah, see, we've almost got it fully built up, and I'll be able to jump up to the left. Now, I have to take it safe. I have to be slow about it, otherwise I can run into a block there and end up dying. Yeah, I can actually do it right now. Boom. Got it. Perfect. See? It's not that bad. Very infamous section, but honestly, like I said, if you just be patient with it, watch the block patterns, and you can even manipulate it. You know, push some of the blocks off the screen. Woo! Yeah, those crows can be a little tough to deal with. It looks like I have 3 lives left. There are some hidden extra lives, and I think actually the first one, or one of the earlier ones is here. Or one of our first in this playthrough, anyway. So we're gonna bust open that wall right there. Yep, extra life. Oh no! No, 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 no! So I tried jumping, and for some reason I jumped too early, and I hit my head on the ceiling, and I wasn't allowed to jump. And I just ended up walking off the ledge as a result. Oh, that's a problem. I mean, it just means we have to do this all over again. Oh boy. Now I do have 5 hearts to work with if I really wanted to. I could use Alucard to fly up, but unfortunately 5 hearts isn't going to make me all the way up. It's not going to get me all the way up anyway. I'm gonna actually push the blocks up even further every chance I get, just to try to manipulate the pattern. Oops, why did I do that? See, that's why you gotta take your time on this part. Oh, and all because of a simple little mistake trying to get that extra life. That's just so bad, man. It's bad, bad, bad. Just jump up like this. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could jump up on the right, push the screen up even further. Oh, that's a really bad idea. Oh, what am I... This is... I'm being an idiot right now. And if I jump, I'm gonna push the screen up even further. Okay, no, I'm good. Alright, cool. We're good. We're back in business. Again, kind of like my Dracula X playthrough, which was my last Castlevania video. You know, sometimes I can show you what to do, but then other times I can be an example of what not to do. And, you know, sometimes that's just as valuable as being shown the solution. And I have to keep that in mind when I'm doing these videos. I prefer to show... Oh, the pattern changed on me! That's what I'm talking about. The pattern can change on you based on how many blocks are on the screen. And I didn't recognize it early enough when I got knocked off. Let's go ahead and switch over. Oh, not enough! So I can probably get about halfway up, then use the bat. And then we'll be in safety. Man, this is kind of funny, dying at this so many times. I got it perfectly on the first attempt. And now this has been like 3 times now, and I've bombed out. Yeah, again, I think what I should do is do what I did earlier and let this bottom part build up, just to feel safe. I mean, I did it right the first time, but I've been experimenting with different strategies since, which is not really ideal, so go ahead and just play it safe. Oh, You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Well, you know what? At least this will allow me to get hearts back. And then with hearts, I can just fly straight up. Yeah, we gotta do the whole thing over again. I think we even have to do the boss fight once again. You know, this is, you know, considered the toughest route for a reason. You've gotta have some... You have to have the patience of a saint here. Which is one reason why I generally don't like playing this route. I prefer going the Sypha route, so I can just ignore this section completely. But we play it to Alucard's strengths. I can, again, use my bat form. I am going to need to switch over to Trevor, though, just so I can get his whip upgraded. Because I'm going to need to use Trevor on the boss fights. There we go, there's one. There's holy water, which is also good. Whoa there. Oh there, Mr. Bat. Alright, so Trevor's whip is upgraded. I will switch back over to Alucard. Because what I can do is just fly up here. Like, you know what? Screw this section. It's a dumb section. Let's just skip past it. Like I said, definitely made for Alucard. Or Grant, even. Grant, you know, has a lot of flexibility on those first few rooms as well, because he can just climb over the walls, which is also a lot of fun. I'd actually say Grant is probably my favorite playstyle in this game. He's just so flexible. But if you get to this section with him, you're still stuck, because he can't fly. The vertical section, I mean. Unfortunately, Alucard's attack is very weak, but it's got the benefit of being long range without actually using up hearts, which is, you know, it's good. It kind of sucks that it's weak, but, you know, if it was really powerful, it would just be, it would be overpowered with how the game is designed. So it makes sense it is the way it is. And of course, I can't fly over there. Switch over to Trevor, because again, Alucard cannot shoot on stairs. So I don't want to be as Alucard coming down this stairwell. There we go. Of course, it's the axe. Alright, let's try this again. Nice. Bat just ran right into it. Alright, we're gonna switch over to Alucard. I mean, I could risk it. This is very, very risky right here. Whew, got it. First try. Good. Alright, I'm gonna stick with Alucard because we've got, you know, some enemies up here where I could definitely use a long-range attack. Plus, if things get hairy, I can switch into my bat form right away. These spiders can be a little irritating. As you see, they can shoot little spiders at you, and they target you pretty well. But Alucard can be good against these crows. And I can use my bat form to just come up here like that. And since we continued, the extra life should be back. And I'm gonna play it safe here. I don't trust that. I can't believe we died because of that. I tried jumping and my hitbox, it was still like, it was still in that little cubby. And we're gonna skip this section completely. Again, another thing designed, I think, with Alucard in mind. I'm gonna get all the hearts I can so I can transform into my bat form if necessary. Yeah, you can see how weak his attack is, though. Like, he's not even killing the Medusas in one hit. So, okay, these are really bad Medusa patterns. Don't like them. I really should be switching over to Trevor. Now you'll notice that the Medusa arcs in this, it feels like they're a little bit lower than they are in the first Castlevania. So I find the Medusa heads that actually be much more difficult to avoid in this game. You're really better off playing as Trevor and just killing them in one hit. That's what was making my life more difficult, is I was using Alucard, and, you know, his attack wasn't killing him instantly. And thus, I would get hit by them. Whereas with Trevor, I would kill them, you know, instantly. Alright, so this is the part I was talking about, where if you play this on the second loop, it is just, it's insanely difficult. Especially if you die and you have to recover and you don't have a lot of, you know, ammunition and shot doublers and all that stuff. I can actually jump up here. Now if I can make it to the top, there will be wall meets. But I have to make it to the top, and I think one more hit's gonna kill me. Castlevania III is kind of notorious for dishing out a lot of damage, like really quickly, unfortunately. So at this point, I think enemies will take away about 4 blocks of health. Oh, and I actually want to be on the left-hand side. So there is, you know, all 2 pathways here. Right staircase, left staircase. It actually looks like I could have gotten over to the left one from the right, so... And let's see. Boom, there we go. Health refill. Very good. Definitely want the holy water for this next boss fight. Normally we would see this triple boss fight first on the ghost pirate ship. But for this route, we see it for the first time here. And first form is 2 mummies. Holy water just wrecks them. There we go. Second form is going to be the Cyclops, which we would have seen on Sypha's route in the beginning. Again, that's how you free Sypha. I'm going to get all the way over here, jump over. And one thing that's cool here is you can actually drop holy water on one of those platforms and smack him in the face with it. I'm actually kind of curious if I can do it. Oh, nope, I mistimed that completely. Nice. Alright, I want to come over to the left-hand side. Our last form is this big demon. He likes to jump around. And he'll end up on this top platform. Or the middle one. I thought he was going to land on the top one. He's got a 3-way spread shot. Which basically comes out after 3 hops. So he does 3 hops and then a 3-way shot. And then he does 3 more hops and then does another 3-way shot. A lot of the bosses in this game are very simple. But when you combine 3 of them back to back, you know, it can still be a little grueling. It can be a little intense. Especially if you go into the fight like I did without a full health bar. Alright, we're getting close to the end of the game. We have just a couple more levels to go. And this is the castle hallway, where we end up fighting death. On loop 2, these zombies are actually much tougher and faster zombies. And funny enough, the ones in the second loop do not give you any points. I think it's one of the only enemies in the game that doesn't give you points. I don't know if that was by design, or if it was just like an oversight. There's a doubler. I really want that, but I'm not going to get it in time. Nope, missed it. Still, we're in a good position right now. Ideally, I want to keep the holy water until the end of this level, because it's really, really good against death. I mean, it's really good against death in the first Castlevania, but again, holy water operates very differently here, and death is also very different in this Castlevania. For one, he's got 2 phases, 2 forms. And I think this next section will probably have some wall meat. I get my health back. Well, we're already close to the end of this level. It's actually not a very long level, believe it or not. Go ahead, take advantage of my holy water. It's a big hitbox when it's in those blocks. There we go. I love how they brought back a lot of old music in this game. It's just so good. You know, it was basically with this game that Castlevania started taking music from a lot of its prior games. It became a staple to have, like, Vampire Killer, Bloody Tears, and in later Castlevanias you'd have Beginning, which was this game's Stage 1 theme. I didn't want him to drop the doubler. I think I'll be able to get another doubler elsewhere. Alright, so this is normally holy water, I believe? Alright, so we got the doubler. This might be a tripler. Let's see. Yeah, alright, now we're in business. So what I'm going to do is try not to whip these candles, because I always forget what, you know, what's in them. These candles coming up to the right, sorry. Because this is a falling block section. So I'm just going to keep moving to the right. I've got plenty of hearts. I've got 42. I'm good on ammo. I'm gonna just try to jump over him. It's okay. I got boosted in the right direction. Alright, good stuff. And that's a dagger. You never want that unless you're Sypha. That would be a flame with Sypha. So what I'm gonna do is just drop holy water right here. And just annihilate him. Look at that. Alright, now I have to get over to the left quickly. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Oops. Not what I wanted to do, actually. It's okay. A little sloppy. Perfect. Yeah, so I mean, holy water works, like I said, it works differently in this compared to the first Castlevania, but it can still annihilate bosses when used correctly. Remember, enemies just have to run into it. You don't even have to aim correctly. You can just, like, drop it into a block right in front of you, and as long as they're moving towards you into that block, they will start taking damage. Alright, let's make sure Alucard's got his full firepower. He should, because I haven't died in a little bit now. Yeah, he's good. I am going to still use Trevor, though. Alucard will definitely be handy here at certain points, but these first few rooms, Trevor's a lot better. And we also want to watch and make sure that they don't drop any projectiles I might not want. Yep, see, like he just dropped a dagger. I don't know why a hunchback is holding a dagger, but okay. Go ahead and tap one of these blocks. There we go. Big heart. Definitely want as many hearts as I can get. Now this boss is also kind of infamous. It's the doppelganger. And there is a little bit of an exploit I might try to do. I'm not sure I'm gonna want to handle this boss. Because I don't normally play with Alucard. You know, Alucard does make certain sections a little more challenging. Alright, let's see. Jump over that. And I like to jump on top of this one. Let's go ahead and get that heart. Still gonna use Trevor here. Unfortunately, I don't have any long-range projectiles. So this section might be a little difficult. But I'm gonna try to just take my time. Attack these bone pillars when they shoot their projectiles. That way I counter their projectiles at the same time. Thus I don't get hit by them. Let's take it easy here. Now, I was talking about this in my first Castlevania playthrough, my quick play, where on staircases in this game, you can just automatically attack. You just hold down the attack button, and Trevor will just attack automatically. And that actually happens in the first Castlevania, but only when you collect the orb after beating a boss. I'm gonna go ahead and just... Oh, this is not good! Not good! Ugh. That was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And that was only because I was going for that bone pillar on the top left. If I wasn't going for the bone pillar in the top left, I would have had my focus and attention on the flying gargoyle thing. So yeah, that was really bad. But it's okay. This, you know, what's funny about that is this section will be a little bit easier now because I have an axe. I probably should have picked up the axe, but I was too dead set on having the tripler with my holy water. But the axe will make our life a little bit easier, especially as I get more hearts. And I can't hit him from there, unfortunately. I'm just taking my time here. These vertical sections with bone pillars and you know, gargoyles are, it's all about patience. It really is. It's like right here, now I can kill this bone pillar from over here. And I can use my axe on that guy. Just go ahead and just run past up. Run up these stairs, not a big deal. You don't have to kill everything you see. Sometimes the best solution is simply just moving ahead. And just taking your time. Just being patient. Castlevania III is definitely one of the Castlevanias that definitely rewards patience more than other Castlevanias. It absolutely is. Alright, so we're gonna have another vertically auto-scrolling section coming up. It's actually kind of funny. I thought this playthrough was gonna be about 45 minutes, but because I died so many times, it's been almost an hour already. So we're definitely not doing the second loop. I love it that the series is called Quick Play, yet some of these playthroughs are anything but. Shoutouts to Azusa2525, aka Karsten Stump, as well as Retroactive Kevin. They actually kind of helped me pick the name for this series. So the term Quick Play was actually their idea. I thought it was cool, so I ran with it. Hopefully you guys like the name too. They're like my old Let's Play videos, where there's basically no editing. Yeah, sections like these can get a little tedious in this game, but it's okay. I'm used to them. Not a big deal. Alright, last stretch. This is where things get a little shisty. I'm gonna come here, get some meat. There's probably gonna be another bat. Oh, came from the opposite side. Interesting. And if I really wanted to, I could use Alucard to just kind of skip this section, and I might actually do that. I'd like to get rid of this crow first, though, and there's gonna be a second one over here. Okay, let's go ahead and switch. I think I can fly through that with Alucard. Let's see. I hope I can. Yes, okay, cool. Switch back to Trevor. Oh, you know what? No, I'm gonna switch back to Alucard. See if I can get, oh, never mind. Alright, back to Trevor. Now, the idea here is to just not jump at all. That way you can manipulate the Medusa patterns. They basically come out at the same height that you're at. So, like, if I jump, they'll come out a little bit higher. So, and also if you jump on those platforms, they spin around and you can fall through them. You obviously don't want that to happen. Now there's also going to be some wall meat. Oh, not wall meat. Tripler. I'm gonna come up here. It's been a while since I've done this with just Trevor. Okay! Sometimes you get lucky and he just sits in place. Wow. I got super lucky there, man. This doppelganger fight is a real pain. A lot of times what I like to do is I get Sypha and she's got this ball spell where she shoots these balls around the screen. They home in, and if you sit on the top left, the doppelganger just like doesn't know what to do, and it just gets stuck on the bottom, and you just let the homing projectile do the work for you. Alright, so this is the last stretch, guys. This is the final stretch. Alright, moving along. I got holy water. I actually did not want that. Not right now. I do find the axe to be a little more useful, especially for the upcoming section. Although what I might end up doing is just using Alucard. And actually, grabbing that stopwatch might not have been the worst idea. That actually probably would have been very helpful in the next section. Okay, that's a lot of Medusas, and that was some good dodging too, I have to say. Not to toot my own horn, but man, that was actually pretty slick. See, playing all those shoot-em-ups, it carries over into even platformer games. Use the holy water from the staircase. Ooh, shot doubler, shot doubler, shot doubler. Got it. There is an extra life up top in the middle, but I don't have Alucard's projectile. Nice. Perfect. Now, with Alucard, you can actually fly over the bone pillar, and with Grant, you can jump over it, cling onto the wall, and just drop down behind it. Again, so many different ways you can, you know, play this game. There's wall meat on the right, but I don't need it, so I'm going to save it in case I take a hit here. So I am going to grab an axe. It's on the top floor. And, you know, I would love to have holy water for Dracula's second form in particular. Okay, you know what, skeleton, you're... Ugh, that was stressful. That was really stressful, actually. And actually, I'm going to switch over to Alucard. And I'm going to skip this section completely. Go ahead and try to get rid of this bat, at least. Boom. Try not to take a hit, because if I do, I fall straight down. Alright, good deal. So what I also want to do is switch back to Trevor, and what we're going to do is we have a good amount of time, so I'm going to grind out on hearts. So I have a lot of ammunition. Unfortunately, I don't have a shot doubler, though, which is a bummer, and I'm probably not going to get one. But you can just constantly go up and down these stairs and gather lots of hearts. I love that water effect in the background. It's so cool. You know, it's line scrolling, and it's just such an effective effect for more limited platforms. I love the creative ingenuity on demonstration in these old, you know, 8-bit games in particular. You know, like the top tier 8-bit titles, there's a lot of creativity involved to create the visuals and the effects that we see on screen. Well, I think 67 is probably more than enough. So this is Dracula. He's a 3-phase boss fight. Fire goes up, and then a big one comes in, you know, in between the other smaller firewalls. It goes wherever you are on screen, so you basically try to stay inside or outside his firewalls, and then move when the big one appears. 1, 2, and there we go. Got an extra life for that. Alright, so you want to be careful here. I'm going to take a hit. Yep, took a hit. Because platforms come out of the ground. But this is why I want the axe. So Dracula actually has these lasers he shoots out, and they kind of go wherever you are on the screen. So you want to kind of watch them. And then sort of manipulate where they go. So I intentionally jumped to the right there, and then, ooh, I thought that was going to go a little bit sharper downwards, but apparently not. Now I have to be really careful here because if I die, I have to do that whole last section over again. It's one of the brutal things about Castlevania 3 is some of the checkpoints are pretty mean, and they are not nearly as mean in the Japanese version. Got it. First try. Always a satisfying feeling when you get that third form of the first try, but again, that's why I always like the axe at the end. It's very different from like the first Castlevania, or Castlevania 4 or something like that, where in those games I want either holy water or like a boomerang or something like that. For this, it's the axe all the way because of that final form. You can only smack him in the head. You only do damage by hitting him in the head, so... Alright guys, that was Castlevania 3. So, unfortunately there's a little bit of English here. Trevor made many sacrifices. The long fight is over. Dracula is dead, and all other spirits are asleep. The battle was won by Trevor and Alucard, but Alucard feels guilty because he killed his real father. I don't know why I'm laughing at that. I mean, I guess it was supposed to be dark and depressing, but... Trevor realizes this as he stands there thinking about Alucard. After this fight, the Belmont name shall be honored by all people. So, yeah. That was actually one interesting thing that this game brought to the table was more story as well. Castlevania 2 had some story. You know, there was the introduction in the beginning, there was like the text crawl. Not really crawl, it was like, you know, more like a film strip, and it had a big blob of text. And depending on the character that you play with in this, or the combination of characters you use to beat the game, you'll get a different text crawl that gives you a little more background to the characters. So, you know, Castlevania 3 just did a lot of things for the series. It not only gave you and introduced multiple characters that are still used to this day in the franchise, but it also fleshed out the story and, you know, basically gave the series a little more lore. I mean, Castlevania 2 added a lot of lore too, because you had to go visit towns and talk to people, but it was kind of cut and dry, and you were just playing as Simon. You didn't really take any other characters with you. It was Simon's quest. So this actually, you know, introduced even more of that, in probably a more meaningful, you know, long-lasting way. So it's interesting to think about that in hindsight, and just seeing where the series has gone since its inception in 1986. But yeah, Castlevania 3 in 1990 was definitely a big step forward in that regard. So, and it just showed my name, which is just A. Thank you very much for playing. Well, you're welcome, Castlevania 3. You are so very welcome. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If we hit the start button, we get thrown right into Loop 2. That I am not going to play, because it is balls hard. And, especially with Alucard. Again, I don't think I've ever successfully done Alucard's route in Loop 2. I'm pretty sure I've beaten Loop 2 with Alucard. Just I've probably taken the Sypha route, but with Alucard instead, so... But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry that took so long. So if you made it to this point in the video, please comment down below and let me know you made it this far. And hopefully you enjoyed it and you don't have any really, really mean things to say. Sorry I wasn't playing that well today. But I still had a good time. You know, talking my way through this and talking about different strategies and stuff like that. And it was good re-experiencing that vertical block section, you know, in trying to get a handle on it again. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you're new to my channel and you like this sort of video, feel free to subscribe. I've got a lot of content like this, a huge back catalog of very similar gameplay videos, commentary gameplay videos. For everybody already subbed, thanks as always for your continued support. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying this October 2022 as of doing this video. I've just been posting a lot of Castlevania this month, and there will be more to come. So stay tuned for more Castlevania goodness. So, alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. I'm out. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, take it easy.